one of the strongest suggestions of reincarnation in the New Testament appears in the conversation about the man born blind. His disciples asked him, "Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind?" John 9-2. The question implies the belief that the man's suffering could be the result of sins committed in a previous life. This aligns with the concept of karma found in Eastern religions, but also has parallels with the Jewish idea of divine justice carrying over between lifetimes. Early church and reincarnation. One of the early Christian theologians, Origen, taught the pre-existence of souls. In his work, On First Principles, he speculated that souls existed before being born into human bodies and that they underwent multiple lifetimes to achieve salvation. However, this belief was later condemned by the Church at the Fifth Ecumenical Council in 553 AD, marking a shift away from reincarnation as an acceptable Christian doctrine. Despite the official rejection of reincarnation, some Christian mystics and sects continue to hold such beliefs. The Cathars, a medieval Christian group in Europe, taught that souls were trapped in the material world and needed multiple lifetimes to purify themselves before returning to God. Certain Gnostic texts, including those found in the Nag Hammadi library, also suggest a belief in the soul's journey through multiple incarnations. Outside of Judaism and Christianity, reincarnation plays a significant role in Hinduism, Buddhism, and other Eastern traditions. In Hinduism, the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, known as samsara, is governed by karma, the idea that one's actions in past lives determine their fate in future incarnations. Buddhism similarly teaches that souls undergo rebirth until they attain enlightenment and escape the cycle of suffering. In ancient Egyptian religion, the soul, or ka, was believed to pass through different stages after death before reaching the afterlife. Some interpretations suggest that the Egyptians also entertained the idea of rebirth in a new body. Greek philosophers such as Pythagoras and Plato argued for the transmigration of souls, an idea that later influenced Roman and early Christian thought. Today, reincarnation remains a popular belief across various cultures. Some individuals claim to have memories of past lives, often revealed through past life regression therapy. Scientific researchers, such as Dr. Ian Stevenson, have studied cases of children who seem to recall specific details from previous existences, lending credibility to the idea that reincarnation might be more than just a spiritual belief. Certain Christian groups, such as the Edgar Cayce followers and some branches of New Age Christianity, have reintroduced reincarnation as a valid concept. They argue that early Christianity originally embraced reincarnation, but that the doctrine was suppressed by later church authorities. The debate over reincarnation continues to be a topic of interest for theologians, historians, and spiritual seekers. While mainstream Christianity largely rejects it, historical evidence suggests that some early Christians may have entertained the idea. In Judaism, reincarnation has remained a part of mystical traditions, particularly in Kabbalah. Across different cultures and faiths, the belief in rebirth persists, raising profound questions about the nature of the soul and its journey through eternity. Many Jewish groups believe in reincarnation, the idea that the soul moves from one body to another after death. In Judaism, there is a special term for this belief: Gilgul. In many religions, reincarnation is an important teaching. It is possible that during the time of Jesus Christ and the writing of the Old Testament, some Jews and early Christians believed in reincarnation. Below are examples from the Bible that relate to this belief. The ancient Jews believed that after death, a person's soul would go to Sheol. Sheol was neither heaven nor hell, it was simply a place where all the dead resided. It was not a place of punishment or reward. However, if God willed it, He could rescue a person from Sheol and bring them to heaven. Jewish texts describe Sheol as a shadowy existence, where the soul remains until the time of resurrection or divine intervention. Later in Jewish teachings, the idea developed that God could bring people back to life by giving them a new body. This is what the Sovereign Lord says to these bones: "I will make breath enter you, and you will come to life. I will attach tendons to you, and make flesh come upon you, and cover you with skin. I will put breath in you, and you will come to life. Then you will know that I am the Lord." Ezekiel 37:5-6. Jewish mysticism, particularly Kabbalah, developed more detailed teachings about reincarnation. According to the Zohar, the soul undergoes multiple incarnations in order to achieve spiritual perfection. If a person fails to fulfill their divine purpose in one lifetime, their soul may return in another form to continue their journey of growth and correction. Rabbi Isaac Luria, a leading Kabbalist of the 16th century, expanded upon these ideas, teaching that reincarnation was a way for the soul to repair past mistakes. The belief in Tikkun Olam, the concept of healing or fixing the world, extended to the soul's need for purification across different lifetimes. Each person, according to Lurianic Kabbalah, carries unfinished tasks from previous existences. Most Christian churches reject reincarnation, believing that time is linear, and that people go either to heaven or hell after death. At the end of time, there will be a judgment day, when all people will be resurrected in new bodies. In this way, Christianity acknowledges a single resurrection, but does not accept continuous reincarnation. However, early Christian texts and beliefs sometimes hinted at reincarnation. Some early Christian groups, such as the Gnostics, held the view that souls pre-existed before entering human bodies. This belief aligned with teachings found in Greek philosophy, particularly those of Plato, who spoke of the soul's journey through multiple lifetimes. The Gospel of Mark records an exchange between Jesus and his disciples. On the way, he asked them, "Who do people say I am?" They replied, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others one of the prophets." Mark 8:27-28. This passage suggests that the people at the time considered the possibility that Jesus was a reincarnated prophet returning in a new form. Likewise, in Matthew's Gospel, they replied, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others, Jeremiah or one of the prophets." Matthew 16:14.